Elaine Armstrong, and Councilmember Catherine Ross. We have them organized tonight in alphabetical order by first name. We have to be, we try to be fair here, so we mix it up all the time. Now it is my distinct pleasure to introduce Chamber of Commerce Board Member Brian Decora. Brian serves as the President and CEO of Snoqualmie Casino. Snoqualmie Casino is a huge community partner, and we welcome him here tonight. He also, for those of you who don't already know this, has been a major influencer on new state legislation that has helped us advance the Highway 18 Interstate 90 Interchange project. So with that introduction, will you please join me in welcoming our moderator tonight, Brian Decora.
Thank you, Carolyn. Welcome everybody, and welcome candidates to tonight's forum. Thank you for participating. My name is Brian Decora, and I am the President and CEO of Snoqualmie Casino. It's a pleasure to serve as your moderator, and my thanks go to the Snoqualmie Valley Chamber for inviting me to moderate tonight's session. And I'd also like to recognize the Snoqualmie tribe for their support in allowing me to be here. We'll be asking a total of 9 to 10 questions as time permits, and we'll work hard to ensure that we rotate who answers the questions first. Please keep your comments to 2 minutes. Each question will be asked of all of the candidates. We have a hard stop at 8:35 for a 3-minute closing statement, and we'll end the forum at 8:45. If a candidate believes that a rebuttal is necessary, they'll need to ask the moderator for a rebuttal. If a candidate believes that there has been a misstatement of fact, a 1-minute rebuttal will be allowed at the discretion of the moderator. Kelly Coughlin, sitting in the front row here, is the Chamber's Executive Director. She will raise a yellow card when you have 20 seconds left, and a red card when your time is up. We know that you are motivated as we are to be fair and to provide adequate time to answer, so please watch for those cards, okay? Remember, we'll be stopping at 8:35 when you'll each be allowed 3 minutes for a closing statement to finish your thoughts or to encourage the voting members to support you. We ready to go?
Sure.
Excellent. Is it okay if I use everyone's first name? All right.
Excuse me, Brian, do you think we could get some Kleenex?
I think we could.
Thank you.
Any chance we can get something?
Kleenex?
It'll be in.
Thank
You
you.
got it.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. All right. I'm going to start immediately to my right, and we'll work down, and we'll rotate who answers the questions first.
You want us to use this?
Yeah, please use the microphone if you're comfortable. If your voice is loud enough and you feel comfortable not using it, it is completely.
I don't know.
All right.
You tell me, Fuzzy.
I'll give you a thumbs up right now, it's good.
Thank you.
All right, we will start
Thanks,
immediately
Steve.
to my right with Catherine. First question is, let's start with growth. Because of employment growth in Seattle, Bellevue, and Redmond in particular, it is anticipated that some of the growth will bleed into the outlying suburban areas. How do you envision Snoqualmie in 20 years? Specifically, how many more homes do you anticipate? What types of new employers? And would the city annex more land? And will the mill site be developed?
So I recently, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I sit on the Sun City Association's Public Issues Committee, and we have speakers monthly. And so recently, Puget Sound Regional Council presented their Vision 2050 plan. And this plan shows that the 4-county area is going to grow by 1.8 million people over the next 30 years. So that means that we are going to get our share of growth over the next 30 years. There's probably 60 to 80,000 people that are moving here annually. So there's several different issues with housing. Right now we don't have affordable workforce housing, and so we need to expand adding workforce housing. We have 2,800 people that commute here every day, and most of them cannot afford to live here. And so if we add affordable workforce housing, we would have less congestion on the roads, and people that commute here will be able to live, work, and play where they work. Regarding annexing into Snoqualmie, there's very few areas left that can be developed, and so we have the urban growth area. And so that is one of the places where we will probably grow, and we would like to have our council members kind of figure out what we want to see there, instead of having King County or developers tell us what they want to be there. And so, one thing would be, of course, for workforce housing, but then also senior housing. We have a lot of seniors that are becoming displaced out of their homes, and so having assisted living homes or nursing home for our seniors would be helpful as well.
Thank you. Elaine?
Thank you. So, I don't, so, yes, employment is going to grow quite a bit, and already we have lots of people that are coming here to go to work here, and lots of people going out of the city. Unfortunately, a lot of our jobs here do not pay well enough for people to afford the housing that we have here. Now, as far as the urban growth area, I believe that belongs to the county, and my feeling is that it is possible that some of that land could be set aside, maybe even left to the county to be left in habitat and for our beauty, to continue our beauty and our beautiful surroundings. I think it's very dangerous if we expect that we should shove people as densely as possible into our area. But the most important thing when I think about this question is, how much are developers paying to expand our infrastructure? Snoqualmie Parkway is a very beautiful road. It's a nice arterial, but how many more cars and how many more daily commuters can it handle? And I think it's really important that the taxpayers and the residents not bear the largest part of what infrastructure is required for all this new development. So I think any growth that we do should be thoughtful and careful and with lots of dialogue with everybody who's here, because I think a lot of people would like to support what the needs of our community is. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Anna?
I can confirm I agree with some of Elaine's points, but one of the things, everybody hear me? When we take on new development, we really have to ensure that we have enough resources, like water. We have to make sure, we have to consider improving our building infrastructure to support this kind of increased population density. I'm committed to reasonable growth. And one of the things that Catherine does mention, which is true, is the urban growth, the UGA, like I like to refer to it as. So all that is true and correct. I guess where I really, really differ though from my opponent, Catherine, is so goal number 6, this is the goals and agendas from our current council, is preserve and facilitate additional affordable housing for the workforce, seniors, and special needs residents. We got that coming, it's very exciting, almost done. But this also kind of goes into goal number 1, which is provide an economic base that supports approved long-range city revenue goals. I witnessed it firsthand as a business owner. I imported all of my employees from the Maple Valley area, from the Seattle area, and I watched everyone leave in the daytime, and the only lunch business I could get is the business park. So when Elaine says that live, work, breathe, play, or actually it was Catherine, excuse me, that was the whole beginning, that was the idea. So kind of back to where I get a little concerned with my opponent, with Catherine, because it just kind of sounds like recycled words. That's goal number 6. I think it should be ranked 1 a little higher, but that's neither here nor there. And the objective they have for it is to develop a comprehensive city UGA affordable housing plan. I believe we have one in our comp plan. We worked very hard on that in our comp plan, so I think it's really spelled out. I would really, responsible growth, going back to responsible growth, and something attracted me to goal number 3, provide, maintain, sustainably replace needed city infrastructure that meet current and future goals. we're really gonna, I'm sorry, that's the red flag. That's the red flag. The folder's the red flag. So that means I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done.
Thank you, Anna.
I
But-
could go on a lot longer. Anyone, feel free to ask me
You,
more.
you get to hold on to your microphone. I'm gonna start the next question with you.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so we started talking about this with a few of the answers, but Snoqualmie Hills is an urban growth area in which many property owners are interested in selling their land if the city annexes it. How do you envision the annexation, and what do you think is the best use of this area for the city if it happens?
Well, I don't know if it's really, I don't know if it's our job as legislators to really dictate that. I think that it's a developer's job to come and we approve something like that. But the things, and again, I'm gonna go back to what I said before, you know, when we take on new development, we have to ensure that we have enough resources. Water, we have to consider improving our building infrastructure to support increased population density. I'm committed to reasonable growth, and going back to it, I actually supported, I liked the Snoqualmie Hills project. I didn't like the aspects that council did either. They couldn't show the fact of the water. Senior citizens are a great addition. You know, that kind of money would bring, you know, I see Issaquah, these people are on lists. You know, seniors need someplace to go and they wanna be near their grandchildren. And so they don't go out during peak hours, they support local business. I think that it'd be a great addition, you know, in so many different ways. What could it be? Affordable housing, it could be the senior, assisted, unassisted, so many options, but we have to be ready for it. The worst thing in Issaquah was before that little cut through to Costco, that 2 years that it was out, it stunk. But now, Issaquah's not bad driving around. I've really noticed it since that happened. So I would really like to see that we plan before we proceed. I feel that too often we proceed without a plan. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Elaine?
Okay, thank you. So Snoqualmie Hills urban growth area, first of all, I want to bring this back to the point that we have nearly 600 residences and hotel rooms that are coming in the next few years, not to mention what may be happening at the mill site. So I think we need to slow down and really look at what is the impact that these large numbers, almost 200 residences coming in off of Jacobia, what kind of impact is that going to have on our daily lives? I don't think we're in a big hurry. We are growing plenty fast. And again, I think it's absolutely critical that we have good traffic studies that go through the entire, it's only 14,000 people here. Let's do traffic studies that cover the entire area, not just 2 blocks from where the development is. I think we really need to have good input from everyone. And the idea that the urban growth area, someone's gonna develop it, if we don't do it, then the county's gonna do it. I don't know that that's necessarily true. I think we should really be thinking, how much fallow land can we have? That's a bad word, sorry. How much land can we have that is in our beautiful trees and our allow the animals and our own hearts to be very happy with our surroundings. Let's be careful and thoughtful and talk to each other respectfully. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine. Catherine, same question.
Okay, why don't you repeat?
Yes, the question is, Snoqualmie Hills is an urban growth area in which many property owners are interested in selling the land if the city annexes it. How do you envision the annexation, and what do you think would be the best use for the area for the city?
Okay. This gets back to the future growth that is planned throughout the 4-county region, and also affordable housing issues. And so I anticipate we need to increase the affordable workforce housing so that people that come here every day to work can live here. And we have employers that are located on Snoqualmie Ridge and throughout that are having issues trying to retain their workforce. Also, we talked about senior living. It'd be nice if the seniors, once they place them in their homes, that there's assisted living or nursing home or some kind of home where they can live, so generations of families can stay in Snoqualmie. I think overall, UGA, we want to actually kind of guide what's going to go into that area, and so there's a couple couple ideas, but what we are planning to do in the fall is to present the PSRC Vision 2050 plan to our residents at a town hall meeting and talk with our residents about what they would like to see in the urban growth area.
Thank you, Catherine. One of the things that continues to come up in this next question, we'll start with
I'm
Elaine.
sorry, can I just clarify, so the rebuttals
Yes.
are at the end?
Yeah, if you request a rebuttal based on a misstatement of fact, you can request a minute and
Okay.
we'll
Thanks,
authorize
Brian.
it. You got it. All right, next question. Elaine? Many residents and business owners have complained about the lack of affordable workforce housing. How would you help solve this problem? And what would you support denser, smaller, multi-story housing developments in Snoqualmie?
Thank you. Okay, so we have an affordable housing project going in off of Jacobia that I just mentioned. And I would like to see some really good transparency for exactly how much are those units going to be costing people? Are they really going to be affordable? And in addition, do we have covenants or something that goes into the real estate so that it is clear that running with the land, that these houses have to be sold for affordable prices? There's so much money to be made from building out here that I think we have to be very, very careful and really ask ourselves, is this really going to be an affordable situation? So as far as smaller or denser or higher, I think it really depends. I've talked to many people in the city and they're deeply disappointed that the hotel is so tall. That hotel could have been set back and it wouldn't have had as big an impact, but because it's right on the parkway, as people come home, they can't see Mount Si. It breaks their hearts. It's really a shame. So let's be careful what views we are blocking, etc. The other issue I have with denser housing is we say, well, we're gonna use just a smaller amount of the land and put denser housing in. But then, and we'll leave green spaces, but eventually what ends up happening is that the green spaces also get gobbled up. So I want all these things to be very careful about this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elaine. Anna?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question as well?
I'm happy to. Many residents and business owners have complained about the lack of affordable workforce housing. How would you help solve this problem? And would you support denser, smaller, multi-story housing developments in Snoqualmie?
So yeah, like I said, that's been on my mind probably for the last 10 years as an employer. And as myself as well. My husband and I, we used our down payment in 2005 to get our business going from our sale of our house. And at the time it was a renter's market and we really were doing better off by renting and we lost our opportunity, but that is what it is. So I'm really in it firsthand as well as a renter and as an employer that had those things to consider. What's ideas that have gone through my head, and again, I'm gonna kind of point out again to my opponent, Catherine, I hear so much we as a council. I'd like to hear more I and what she is doing to see that this goals, and again, that goes back to goal number 6, don't just sit on a parking lot item. I'd like to hear that she is actively questioning that these things are being looked at. Things that I would think of that go through my mind when I'm sitting at home now on a Friday night. Small houses, tiny homes, I don't know. Time restrictions, really important because myself, I was actually even on the list for a quadrant affordable home. And in our first projects, that was what they had, a restriction of 50 homes per area. I'd like to see going back to that. I do understand why it happened in the multifamily home. It was during a time when they had to get a builder in. I do get that. But I'd like to see something like that going on again where people could buy homes, maybe more Habitat for Humanity. Rent control. I come from New York City. I don't know what that means, but maybe our legislators could get something like that going in our state, because that's my biggest thing is that my house rent has gone up $1,000 for the same square footage house in just a couple of years, and our income hadn't. And I guess really that is it. there's a lot of ideas, but more important, I would really like to see our council encourage that those goals not be parked.
All right, thank you, Anna. Catherine, same question. Many residents and business owners have complained about the lack of affordable workforce housing. How would you help solve this problem, and would you support denser, smaller, multi-story housing developments in Snoqualmie?
Okay. So one of the council goals is to preserve and facilitate additional affordable housing for the workforce and seniors. We do have two projects that are going on right now. One is the Devco Panorama Apartments that are building 191 multifamily units, and they are restricted to 60% area median income. So that would be income under 60,000 for a family of 4. When we approved the Salish Expansion Master Plan last year, we also required an affordable housing plan as part of that, and deed restricted it to 50 years. Those are just kind of the tip of the iceberg, 191, and then whatever the affordable housing would be in the Salish expansion. We still need a lot more, and so we're going to be, what we want to do is look at the housing inventory and figure out what we need to build through a developer. I believe, we're starting out with 191 multi-family homes, and I think that we could do some of these smaller homes so people can actually own their own home and not have to rent it. So.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Catherine. Next question will stay with you. In your opinion, does Snoqualmie need to diversify its revenue? And if so, why and how would you do it?
Yes, Snoqualmie does need to diversify its revenue. We have, our property taxes are 40% of our revenue right now. And we need to become less reliant on those. And so we have over 2 million visitors that come to Snoqualmie Falls every year. And one of our top council priorities is to develop a tourism plan. So we do have a good start on tourism. We have several different projects that are attracting tourists. One is the Hampton Inn, and this, they're getting maybe 80 to 100 people staying there a night, and those people need to eat somewhere. And so we need information there that will encourage them to go find restaurants. We're actually seeing an uptick in sales at restaurants now. The future Salish Spa and Conference Center, there's going to be meeting facilities there that'll draw maybe 300 or so people. And so we would like to see those people then go into historic downtown or to Snoqualmie Ridge to spend their money.